Hi friends, Happy New Year, Happy 2022. We started our year with a Board of Supervisors meeting. Today is Tuesday, January 4th, and so it's the first one of the year. This is our organizational meeting, and so usually there's not a lot going on with organizational meetings in general, but this one did also have an update. Our next board meeting is going to be January 18th. So, Chair Bronson, by votes of 4-1, continued on as chair, and I, by votes of 4-1, continued on as vice chair. Supervisor Hines voted against both of our appointments, and I think based on the conversation that I had with him, he wanted to see a rotation in leadership, which I don't disagree with. I think that that would be a good idea, but I understand the argument that current leadership, with kind of our community in the condition that it's in right now, that consistency in leadership is important. So I voted in favor of both of those. And thank you to my colleagues for voting for me. We had an item on the agenda regarding decreasing the membership of the Pima County Fair Commission that I pulled off because I am meeting with members of the Fair Commission as well as one of the organizers of the gun show that comes to the Pima County Fairgrounds. We're meeting later this month, and I just want to talk to them about their willingness to help support our efforts as a community to keep guns out of the hands of our young people. It is something that is prevalent in our community, especially where I live on the south side, south and west sides, and we see more and more young people that have weapons. And so I'd like to work with our community to do that. And then if that does not bear fruit, then this item will be back on the agenda. In-person meetings. There was an item on the agenda continued from our last meeting by Chair Bronson to resume in-person meetings. And based on the COVID data that we received, we're not going to be doing that. We'll reconsider this item in March, the first meeting in March, to see if we're in a position as a community in regards really to the health and safety and COVID spread, whether we can go back in person. And so I was glad to postpone that until March because I don't think this is a good time to go in person. The land acknowledgement statement. This was something that we are doing in Tucson Unified and was brought by Clerk Sadie Shaw. And I just think that it really is a wonderful acknowledgement at the beginning of every meeting, acknowledging that the lands that we're on are lands of the ancestral homelands of Tohono O'odham and Pasquayaqui tribes. And so I wanted to introduce that to our Pima County board meetings. And I didn't hear back from Chairman Norris yet. And so I did want to give him an opportunity to give us some feedback before we pass that item. And so I was happy to postpone it because I would rather have everything all said and both tribes happy, but I don't think that there's any opposition. Absolutely not. Chairman Yucapicio was in favor, and so I was glad to hear that from him. COVID item. So basically what's happening is COVID is spreading in our community. We have more people that are getting tested, which is great. We have administered 2.5 million tests in Pima County in the last 2 years since the pandemic started. We have, in December of 2021, we had 14,000 COVID infections. And so what I requested is that the Pima County Health Department put up a graphic showing where we are in our community as far as the health of our community. We had a graphic that was up at the beginning of the pandemic that indicated whether we were in the green, yellow, or red as far as with testing, with positivity, with capacity at our hospitals. And in those categories right now, we are all in the red. And I think that because there is a little bit of fatigue in our community with, wearing masks, with hearing the information, some people would rather just kind of not have to hear about it every day. And so I do think a graphic would be helpful in reminding us that we are not in a healthy spot, Pima County, and we need to do what we can to stay safe. Testing kits have gone out, 50,000 have gone out to our libraries. So thank you to all of our Pima County libraries for being the place where I and thousands of us went and picked up COVID tests. 70,000 test kits went to our schools, which is great. And if you haven't yet many of our schools, including all in Tucson Unified, are offering pool testing. And so all you have to do as a parent is authorize once a week, they'll come in and they'll test. And if you authorize that, then you'll get notices if your child tests positive. I think right now we're in a really critical time. And so if you are not feeling well, if your child is not feeling well, if they have the sniffles, a runny nose, please keep them home. The variant really mimics just the flu. You feel like an itchy throat. It's not the telltale signs that we had before with loss of taste, loss of smell. Really, this is more, you get fevers, you get chills, you get itchy throat, runny nose, like the flu. And so please keep your children home and stay home if you're not feeling well. 107,000 of us, or 56%, have received at least one dose of the vaccine. And if you haven't yet been boosted, please do. And we will let you know as soon as we hear from the CDC that young people between the ages of 12 and 15 can get boosted, because once that happens, I'll go ahead and take my two oldest to do that. I did want to give a shout out to Pima County the employees of Pima County. 87% of our employees are vaccinated and have indicated as such. And there has been a lot said about the number of people that are going to be losing their jobs as a result of their unwillingness to be vaccinated. These are employees that are working with vulnerable populations. And in that case, 22 people in the sheriff's department, specifically corrections officers, and 29 through the rest of our county departments won't be working in the county if they don't get vaccinated by the end of this week, January 7th. So I will say now, the sheriff's department is not the department that is lowest vaccinated. They have 75% of their employees have been vaccinated. So that's all really good news. And I was glad to see that. Those were the big issues. We continue to have conversations about, the validity of testing. Lots of questions during the board meetings that are incredibly frustrating. Supervisor Hines made quite a statement at the end of one of my colleagues' statements. And so I do think that it's worth mentioning that it's really important to get accurate information and do what you can to share facts as opposed to, anecdotal. But stay safe, my friends. Our biggest issue at this meeting today, and the largest amount of time, was dedicated to talking about COVID. So we'll see you again January 18th, and we'll make sure to provide you the information below if you would like to call to the audience. Have a great day. Thank you.